Rio, Rio, Rio.
Good morning, guys on YouTube. Give me 1 second here. I gotta open the call on Discord for a second. All right, guys. Hopefully you can hear me on Discord and hear me on YouTube a little bit. Yeah. So what the problem is, guys, is what we were expecting to see, and this is still going to happen, but I don't want you guys risking your capital in this USO trade right now. What's going to happen is, I can guarantee you what will happen. This has happened before, just never quite this extreme, but what they're doing is they have an issue with the storage, right? So what's going to happen is they can't just stop. So this is actually a perfect example of why I believe gold and Bitcoin, believe it or not, are a much better system of currency than oil ever will be, and that's why I despise the petrodollar, because as a commodity, oil is consumable. We use it, right? Just like copper, just like silver even. Gold is very, very rarely used, even in industrial settings. Yes, things are gold plated and blah, blah, blah. That's not the same thing. They massively use oil. They massively use copper. So being consumable makes a commodity not as strong as a principle of currency, because essentially our currency is therefore a debt. It's a debt to pay, so it's always going to be used, and so it can go to negative, like what we saw yesterday. So what's going on is even though they're going to try to slow it down, they can't just cap a well and walk away from it for a couple months, because number one, it literally is dangerous. It could literally explode, kill people. Number two, it can lose the pressure inside of there to the point where when they go to reopen it, it doesn't work. The reason I know so much about this, you guys, about commodities, I'm from Wyoming, Montana, and Colorado. This is in oil and natural gas, 3 states. My granddad was a petroleum engineer my entire life. So I've grown up around this. So that's why I know a bit more about this than most people that we know. Not that it matters really, because we are taking a loss on this trade. The thought process here was that once they are overstored, so, supply and demand, right? So demand has greatly decreased. I believe we're at 50% in the United States. We are using about 100 million barrels a day in January in the world, and we're down below like 60 to 50 at most. I think they estimated like airlines are using like 20%, vehicles on the road are using 50%. We're at 20% on tankers. And railroad, it's horribly low. So the idea is that they're going to stockpile too much. It's going to cause a huge shift in supply and demand. But then we were taking advantage of the fact that once they slow it all down, what usually happens, and you'll see this, mark my words, this will happen, is that all of a sudden then they're going to run out the other way. And then all of a sudden it's going to be a huge supply issue instead of demand, because they've slowed it down, they've laid everybody off, you know what I mean? So that's kind of the problem that's going on. The big thing is, though, is that they have already sent all this oil. It takes a long time. I think people nowadays think that everything can be delivered overnight. But when it comes to something like this, it takes a long time. These ships they've been on their way. These tankers are in the ocean. So you'll actually look and see some of the tanker names popped yesterday. Those same tanker names popped again this morning. A couple of them to look at would be like ticker symbol TK and ticker symbol TNK. So those tanker symbols actually popped, and it's because they're now going to be a great commodity, because they actually are worth more because of where the oil needs to be stored. So hope that kind of makes sense. I did post that long post in Discord. I know it's confusing, but basically I'm just saying get out while you can. I'm just saying try to get out of the small loss. We'll look at it. I'll speculate on it. If I see something that looks a little bit better, then we'll hop in. This is why USO is so tricky. So those other 2 names I posted in that Discord post, if you guys want to look at it and speculate, those are a little bit better because they're longer term. And like I was saying, if something is like under $3, why would you buy options on it? Honestly, you should just buy shares. So that's kind of where we're at here. So we're going to get into open 1 second here. Give me a second, guys. So obviously things are kind of being crazy this morning because of this oil thing. It's just showing cracks in the system. It wouldn't have been of a big deal comparative as yesterday because it was the contract that was already over. USO had already rolled like a week or two ago onto the June contract. But the fact that it's now following again, I mean, we're down to like 16 bucks this morning. I mean, that's huge. So this could trade negative again. It could happen because, again, are we going to be using oil in the next few weeks? Probably not. So let's get into open here and see what's going to happen. Let me go ahead and bring up our ticks. Yeah, and you guys, and I'll talk more about this later today, and I'll post a lot more on this so that everybody can kind of, because this is a great learning experience, if anything, for us, you know, and especially for newer guys, this will be a good learning experience. So let's see here where we're going in the market here this morning. So getting some pretty strong negative ticks. Wow, we started off with a negative 21.55 on the add decline. We're continuing to fall there. Super negative breadth. So the volume is very strong down. So the price is pushing up as the add decline continues to fall and there's strong ticks. So this will be interesting to see where we can push around. Well, that was crazy. So yesterday, what we did see is again, you guys, it's these gravity points that we keep bouncing around, you guys. So those gravity points are as critical as ever before watching them bounce around back and forth. But yeah, I will explain a lot more into this oil thing just so everybody kind of on the same page and learn. I mean, I'm just trying to be safe and get you guys out. I can admit when I'm wrong. That's what's kept us afloat for so long, you know. And honestly, I think that's 2 out of maybe the 30 last trades we've given that did not work. So it's still not too bad. All right, good to hear. I hope everybody's kind of doing the same thing. Yeah, we had a good idea, and I can tell you right now that it may work out. I just feel more comfortable being safe, and I will continue to watch it. And if we see another entry, we'll get back in it. Awesome, nice count. Hell yeah, man.
Hi there, John. Well, not surprisingly, some of the viewers we want to take a look at have to do with a historic plunge in crude oil.
Gonna ride it like the Titan. That's a good captain. Good captain. I'll ride this ship down to the end. Yeah, I'm going to keep some of mine. I've averaged pretty far down. I'll keep some of my options. I'm just saying as a group thing, I would suggest probably taking the capital and being safe while you can. Yeah, Shopify has just been crazy. Yeah, Shop up another $26 here, 4.26%. Nvidia, Tesla both down about 1.23%. BA down another almost 4%. Roku's down just a little bit here, about 0.4, and Activision's up about 50 cents. Let's take a look around the market here, might as well. Oh, give me 1 second here. I dropped my... Got too many screens going on here. So Baba's just barely in the red. Whoa, why does it keep doing that on me? Baidu is down about 2.5%. AMD is still in the green here, holding up above those 4-hour Celts. Qualcomm down just about 63 cents. Disney down another 2% this morning. McDonald's down about 1.38% or $2.50. Let's take a look at FANG here. So FANG will be interesting to watch. So Netflix is actually pushing back down. It's been really, really strong lately along with Amazon. So we've got Facebook trading 2% down. Apple just barely in the red here, about 0.35. Amazon, what is it, about 0.7 in the green. Netflix about 1% up still, but it's kind of giving back those gains, those pre-market little pull up here. Google down 1.5% and Microsoft down just about 1.1%. So pretty interesting to see that. So let's take a look at our futures map here. So, wow. So oil is trading all the way down to another 28.5% at 14.62. So super, super sketchy. The market's going to be definitely looking at that. Financials trading down 3%. Financials did not participate in the rally nearly as much as I would have expected on all this. So financials have kind of been dragging their toes. And now that tech's kind of stalling out, it seems, I think this is where things start getting a lot weaker. I was hoping to get a little bit higher before we dipped. So I still think they're going to try to trap people. I think they're making this too easy. There's no way this is going to be this easy, but we'll see. The NASDAQ is a bit stronger than both the S&P and Dow again. It is down just about under 1%, as the S is down about 1.5%, trying to push up here. Bonds and treasuries are up significantly here, but giving back some of those early morning gains. So we'll continue to watch and see where that leads us. Continuing to get some strong ticks here on the negative side. Just barely touched the negative 500 line, but still pretty strong negative ticks here. We're kind of flattening out on the ad decline, but still down negative 21.25. Pretty low breadth to start the day, and you can see on the breadth there on the lower left, guys, that's what these are. And we will be doing a class on how to read this stuff, but just how you read it normally is, so it's negative 844 ratio to 1, and the NASDAQ is negative 132 to ratio to 1. So that's a big difference. You can see that how much farther down the market is compared to just the NASDAQ, which is because you've got some of the like the tech stocks pushing up a little bit stronger, especially when you've got, you know, a couple of them trading in the green. So that makes a big difference because they're so weighted so heavily that they will pull the overall market up with themselves. Yeah, I mean, if you're only in it for 200, and it's like, yeah, I mean, you might, and what I'm saying, you might be one of the lucky ones if you stay in it. I'm just saying it will be more lucky than strategic. I mean, I guess I gave a good strategy, but it's that once we pull back, because that's what's gonna happen. It always happens with this with commodities, where they'll overdo it and they'll slow way too far down and they'll stop sending, and they'll cap everything and they'll store everything, and then all of a sudden they're going to run out, and then they're going to be in a hurry. And if anything happens, imagine if there's any kind of any sort of like tanker sinks or oil spill, or there's a war in quotes on accident. Yeah, you can imagine what could happen real fast. Yeah, and seeing Spartacus got out with a 5% loss. That's really not that bad. Hoping he's not in it for a lot, but yeah. I mean, I was up green in it for a little bit. I just obviously was in it for the long run. So, but I've definitely shed about half of that position. So we'll see. Oh yeah, see, $36 loss. Like, I mean, 5% is 5%. Money's money, right? That sucks, but we'll make it back. One of the other trades I'm looking at again, just so everybody knows, and I'll look at it a bit more, is another long TLT play. If we can hold 170 in TLT, I'm looking at hitting that 175 again. That trade has been super, super good to us if anybody's been following it. So I may post that in trade ideas today, depending on where we can hold around that 170. So TLT may be another one. Oh, yeah, and see, nice. Okay, well, I'm glad you guys are getting out, so I appreciate it. I think they're making it too easy, Sparty. I don't know. I think Addict agrees with me too. I don't think it's too easy. I feel like this is too easy. Season tight there, DT. You're welcome. God.
you have areas of opportunity. What's been interesting to me, John, is that you have this collapse in oil, which is a big part of our world, and yet you have the 10-year still over 50 bits. You have inflation, the tips actually up on the day. They've been pretty strong lately. There is a sense
Yeah, definitely read what I just posted, you guys. That's exactly what we've been saying. We haven't changed our story one bit. You can go back and screenshot all of them, but read what he just wrote, because that is exactly what we're playing. That's the exact scenario that we're looking at. That is the strategy, and that is the smart way to play.
economic fallout will come. And the question that people are wrestling with is, are we going back to reflation in the second half of the year?
Well, let's add to that. Here's a tweet from the President of the United States, literally just in the last 5 minutes as we're having this conversation. We will never let the great U.S. oil and gas industry down. I've instructed the Secretary of Energy and Secretary of the Treasury to formulate a plan which will make funds available so that these very important companies and jobs will be secured long into the future. Here's my question on the inflation debate, Jay. If we maintain capacity in a range of industries,
See, and I like that play better, Ryan. And I don't know if you read those ones I wrote for the longer term contracts earlier in Discord. Those are some of the better ideas. But no, I truly think the better play is in something like that, like Exxon, Chevron, Oxy, those ones, or the longer term contracts. But that is a possibly good play, or the tankers. But I kind of feel like you'd be chasing the tankers at this point.
You're going to have some production that's probably been destroyed or will be mothballed in this environment. I think you will have a gradual recovery in demand. I think production, we're learning animals. And the good news here, John, for us, those of us in the States and in Europe, is that we can learn from what's happening in Asia that went through this first. You listen to companies, VW, Starbucks, and others, you're talking about setting up their production runs based on what they learned from already reopening in China, for example. And so the way we're playing it, John, is we've got a barbell. We like technology, which has not always been the case for me, as you know. We think tech is a clear winner here. Every day, tech continues to do well. We like semis, we like e-commerce, and we like value. So we have a barbell between technology, which is growth.
Sorry, guys, I'm continuing to answer as many emails and DMs as I can, because I know everybody's got questions on everything that's going on this morning. So.
As we come out of this, and we already are in the gradual reopening phase, and it's going to be tricky because you've got to reopen.
And also, guys, I'm continuing to I'm trying to read through all this stuff too, because Trump's been posting about oil, obviously, all morning. So I'm trying to kind of decipher through what they're going to say. I know they're coming out with Mnuchin posted earlier. They're going to be coming out with something on the small business loans again today. They said, I think they were through most of the details, so that'll be interesting to read. But I know they're going to come out with something on this oil ordeal. So hopefully we'll see something from that, just to kind of see, because this is definitely very, very important, as the market has been following, oil pretty closely. That's where the dollar, too, and that's where the dollar strength comes from. And they call it the petrodollar for a reason, right?
Coming next on the program, Jeff Rosenberg of BlackRock weighing in on the next policy move in the energy space and what it means for energy credit and beyond. We'll get his views on fixed income. Right now, the equity market, 12 minutes into the session, equities lower by 2%. This is Bloomberg.
Yeah, bonds and treasuries are up pretty strong this morning, which no surprise there. It's obvious, and that's also where a lot of the surplus money goes into, is those bonds. So it's not surprising. Same as thing happened last night in the Asian market trade too. And honestly, I thought that's what they were going to come out with and say, was something about the government was going to start buying oil. I really, really thought that's what they were going to say. But Lord knows if they really do or not. But if they tell us, that's completely different. Nice, good job, Sparty. Yeah, you might as well take the profits now and then get another entry and go for it lower. It's obviously stalling out right now. So, smart play, man. There's nothing wrong with taking the profits and getting them back in.
stimulus, which I've got it calculated now at 6.4 trillion, or the Federal Reserve stimulus, which is 6.3. So you're replacing about $3.7 trillion of lost economic output with $12.7 trillion coming from the federal government. I like my chances in that market. I'm long our position, and I'm actually raising money from people that see the thing as undervalued the way we do.
Anthony, some investors, a lot of investors awake this morning to see the president looking to close immigration into the country to stop the spread of coronavirus.
So just kind of looking around things again here, guys. I mean, we're down pretty decent morning down, but pretty quiet as far as everything else goes. I think a lot of people, there are some numbers coming out today. I think some big important earnings obviously coming out, especially watching like Netflix and Coca-Cola will be two of the ones that I'll be watching. We do have a 63.53 expected move left by tomorrow in SPX, so that'll be interesting to see. We have been trading decently closer to the expected moves in the last couple weeks. Obviously, it's going to take a while till we kind of get back into those ranges again. But as far as we go, the dollar is up a little bit today, just about 0.3 stronger today. So oil's still down about 27% in the red. ES is 1.42% down. Gold is down 1.3%, which I'm sure a lot of those are margin calls. Natural gas is down 0.5 after a massive push up the last couple days. The NASDAQ is finally catching up to the other markets. It is down 1.3%. The VIX futures, volatility futures are up 6.97%. The Dow is down 1.78%. Bonds are up 1%. Treasuries are up. Well, they're kind of flopping back and forth, but they're moving quite a bit. But they're both up pretty strong this morning. And then let's take a look at our FANG stocks again here. And we are getting a few ticks. We did get a couple of ticks over the zero line. So in the second 15-minute period, so that is noteworthy, as I always bring up in the 15-minute increments every morning. We want to watch those. So looking at our FANG stocks, Facebook is down now about $5.60, so about 3.1%. Apple's trading 1.39% down. Amazon 0.74%. Netflix still holding up, just barely in the green here, about 0.16%. Google is down, clear down to 2.59%, and Microsoft is down 1.86%. Boeing is buying up a little bit from their fall here this morning. They're still down just under 3%. Roku is their losses have accelerated here into the open, down 1.29%. Activision kind of flopping around on the flat line here, so it was, it's about 0.06, down 0.03, 0.06, so it's pretty much flat. It really needs to hold on to this upper celt here on the 4-hour for me to look at. This might be a nice pullback on Activision to get long again, but I really want to see it hold on to that. I want to see Activision hold on to this 4-hour upper celt. Oh, I was trying to read up on that. Yeah, Shop is still up just under 4%. Nvidia up 1.6%, and Tesla is back in the green now, up just a little over 0.5% here. I will take a look at USO in a second. So Baba is still trading in the red, just about 1%. Baidu is down about 3%. AMD is now down about 0.5%. Qualcomm's down over 1%, so those accelerated, but they're kind of starting to buy back up. Disney down about 1.75, and McDonald's down about 1.86. Let's take a look at USO, guys. Give me one second here.
talk to me about the kind of
hurting
sectors
certain states.
you are looking
It's going to hurt the
actively
fracking industry
exposing
that
yourself
we're
to,
upside down
and
on
those
oil
that you are
prices
shying away from.
temporarily. I bet everybody on this television show has probably only filled their car once with gas over the last month. I used to fill my car, once a week, 4 or 5 times a month. Now I filled it one time in 6 weeks. So you can see the depression and the deceleration of demand, but it will pick back up. And so, to me, I would look at that as a price cut, if you will, or a tax cut. For lower and middle income people, it'll be mildly beneficial in the recovery.
We just saw Trump tweet out about oil. He says we will never let the great U.S. oil and gas industry down. I, meaning President Trump, have instructed the Secretary of Energy and Secretary of the Treasury to formulate a plan which will make funds available so that these very important companies and jobs will be secure.
Yeah, so Trump is continuing to post about oil, saying basically that he's talking to the Secretary of Energy and Secretary of Treasury, saying that they will make sure that funds are allocated correctly. And there goes USO moving again. So, but yeah, I'll find those. I'll get those Trump posts over, and I'll post them into Discord in a second, guys, because I think that is interesting. And this is something that we'll be wanting to pay attention to. This is all of this has been since February 24th. This has been a fantastic learning experience for the newer guys, and this is something that we'll talk about for the rest of our careers, literally.
You and all of us, I hear you. All right, thanks a lot. Be well. We'll talk to you soon.
Dislocations, and I believe a lot of those
All right, stay with us. What this pandemic is doing to the pet industry when we return.
Snorkels and Beyond. Yeah, that's some really good news on Snorkel. On Beyond, though. Some great news about working with Starbucks in China. That's huge.
in and around 50 to 60 basis points over the last month. What explains that, Jeff?
Well, we really fundamentally
Yeah, it's wait a minute, what's going on here? Huh, everything is being super weird all of a sudden. It's right at this time every morning, I swear. It's because when everybody's coming on for school and work. It's like I get a free hour every morning, and then all of a sudden it's just everything wants to like screeching halt here. So you can see some decent orders coming in here on USO. I mean, they're definitely trying to buy it up. So
pegging that they employed during World War II, 3.8% on the front end, is still 2.5% in the 30
I swear you posted something though yesterday, man. I thought because like I knew about it, or maybe it was because we. No, I swear we had to have talked about it. Maybe you didn't post your technical ideas, but I know we were talking about it. I'm positive it was like me, you, and DT. I'm pretty sure.
probably see the Fed ramp up, not control, but ramp up asset purchases or forward guidance or other
Or maybe it was just because of this morning. I'm confused. No, huh?
we have some ballast hedging, not as much.
Maybe I'm dreaming about talking to you, Snorkel. See, now I'm having dreams about discussing stocks with you guys. We all hang out too much. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nice. Yeah, man, look at that thing. Jeez, ripping. Wow. I'm gonna take a look at that. Let's take a look at the old Beyond, the old veggies.
The Fed is not going to lift this emergency level of support. They're not going to lift off of zero interest rates. Not going to have that whole conversation for a very long time. And relative to the earlier conversation, there's not an inflationary issue.
That's incredible. Up 15.6%, up over $12 this morning on Beyond. Wow, just ripping up here.
Our economy, so you've got a long runway here of zero interest rate policy.
Jeff Rosenberg of BlackRock. Jeff, always great to catch up with you, sir. Hope you and yours and the whole of the team over at BlackRock are doing pretty well. In the market right now, 22 minutes into the session, equities lower by 1.92%. Up next, the day ahead. This is Bloomberg.
Like definitely a great trade as far as like you got some technicals working for it. You got some great fundamentals underneath there. The crazy thing about it is like there's so many freaking gaps in that chart because it's traded so crazy ever since IPO. And the good thing is though is we all know that this thing can move. I mean look, it moved 15% already. But I mean this thing can actually, I mean it can move up huge. There's a massive amount of room above here. It's just, it's such a crazy chart. You know, last year was such a crazy IPO year. Yeah, 93.06. And then it dipped pretty crazy right out of the gate, so gave a perfect entry to get long there. Actually, I think I'm going to keep this up just for the day, just so I can kind of watch it throughout the morning here.
Chewy is your largest holding, but you also hold some non-traditional names when we think about healthcare. You have a good amount of biopharma and also tech.
So starting to get some positive ticks here, not even at the 30-minute mark, so that's significant. That is noteworthy, of course. And you can see on the decline line, it's really started. I mean, you got a just total V there, V recovery this morning. These ticks are all trying to round up. Breadth is starting to push back up as well. So definitely noteworthy, definitely significant. I mean, they could not, that like we kept saying, and Jacob was on it, that 27.50, they got below it a couple of times, but they weren't able to close anything below it, and that's the level right there. And after they do that so many times, like, it's one of two ways. Either they keep tapping it and it breaks from getting weak, or it holds up and gets stronger and then bounces off of it, and obviously we know which way so far this morning. So that'll definitely be interesting to watch, but that'll be that key level, as I've been stating over and over and over. But definitely this morning, that's where it's pushing around here. So it looks like pretty much so Netflix is now in the red. Amazon's trying to come back here into the green. A little bit of push up from Microsoft and Apple, still both in the red, but they're all trying to push up a little bit there. So it is definitely interesting. So you can see financials, the XLF's all the way back up to 2164 now. So it is trying to help out here. Oil's pushing up, gold's pushing up, bonds and treasuries are falling. So you got financials trying to make a push up, gold making a push up, and oil pushing up. So that's definitely starting to push the market up. So we see those things roll over again. That's where the market's going to roll over, guys. So that's what we'll want to be keeping an eye on here this morning.
Points. The S&P is down nearly 50. The Nasdaq Composite sliding more than 140. This as we see a historic plunge in the price of oil. Crude oil was negative for a bit. It has now come back just a smidge.
All right, we are 30 minutes into the day here. I will still be on Discord and audio, but as far as on YouTube, we will be moving over just to the Discord. So if you're on YouTube, please join our Discord, which I think it looks like everybody in there is, except for one of you, but I know that's Brandon. So yeah, we need to get Brandon over here. For whatever reason, he he doesn't want to use Discord. I'm not sure why, but yeah. So all right.
on the beat.
Ryan Little.
Guys, make sure you watch that 278183 there. If you're looking at it on the YouTube, you can obviously see it in red there, that August dump low. You guys know how many times you've heard me mention that over and over and over. So they got pretty close there on that one spike, but about 15 minutes ago. But watch that if we get back up there. That could be a great short opportunity if they can't close up over that 27.81.83, and that's on ES, not SPX. ES. Very rare will I give you guys SPX numbers, even though that's mostly what I trade in, but we watch the numbers in ES just like for SPY stuff. So if you ever hear me say a number, unless I tell you specifically it's SPX, it's going to be ES. I just want to make that clear again. I don't think Jacob is in on the call, but so that quant tech indicator he uses from TheoTrade, you guys, it's very similar to what's in my upper left corner on the page I always watch for streaming. So if you look on it, actually shared TT quant tick, it's the same thing. It's very, very similar. The reason I use the one I do is because I like to be able to see all of the markets individually, so I can see divergences between the markets. And then the way you watch it is you just literally visually look at the way that the lines are curving. So you can literally see that, like just like he's showing how it's curving down, it's the same thing you can see on mine where they're literally curving over. The thing I like about the one I have again is that it shows all of the markets individually, so that you can see if one market is lagging or diverging. You know that sometimes the strength of that market can pull them up, or the weakness of another market can pull it down. So that's why I use my version. But that TheoTrade indicator is actually really cool that he's been using. I'm glad he's trying it. I think he'll be able to find some great success with it. It is a very cool one. We have it on there to trade. Me and Darth are putting together an indicator page where you guys will be able to copy our scripts. Some of them are paid for, but we don't mind you guys having them. Obviously, it's just that we would obviously ask that only you guys use them, right? DT, you wouldn't have to just use the 1 minute or 2 minute necessarily to trade from, but it would just be more of an indicator to back you up. But I mean, you're more of a levels kind of longer term. So I mean, you don't want to start trying something that you're not comfortable with. So I'm not going to even push it. But it might not be a bad idea to just to learn about, or even to maybe use it as a separate indicator all on its own. I don't know. I mean, I think the way that you trade, you're fine the way you use ticks anyway, just more of a directional thing and more of a confirmation. So, but it's good to know about at least, and maybe it is something you'll look at eventually. Stop sneezing at me. Guys, I might be looking at a bounce off of this level here. It's been trading around it all morning. Obviously, we've broken through it a couple of times and then turn the dice here. So you can kind of see things are kind of trying to go flat here. But I might look for a scalp off of this bounce, but it depends on what price shows here. I'm just letting everybody know where I'm looking.